Hey there guys, so with the release of Transformers Rise of the Beast a couple of weeks ago, I thought it was a perfect opportunity to go back, rewatch all the previous Transformers films and rank them all. And I'm only counting these 7 live action films. And I know there's this like iconic animated one from the 80s, but it ties into a cartoon. And I just didn't want it on my list in general. At last place is Revenge of the Fallen. The plot is so thin to a point like there's hardly any Transformers. And that's because the first movie was such a big hit. The studio wanted a sequel in 2 years, but there was a writer's strike and the film has to suffer for it. I mean, you got racist robots, you got cringe jokes, you got fart jokes, you got robots humping, you got robots that have balls, you got like Shia LaBeouf's character that's making out with an attractive woman who's actually a Decepticon, but there's no explanation and we never see it again. And 5 minutes later, Optimus Prime gets killed. And then the human characters travel across Egypt, but before that, they somehow teleport to Egypt. I mean, it's just bad. There's no story into this movie. It feels like a 10-page draft. The 2 things I really like in this movie, the forest fight scene where you got Optimus Prime taking on like 3 Decepticons. To me, that's probably my favourite fight in the franchise. And the last battle in Egypt when Optimus Prime comes back, he gets an upgrade to take down Megatron and the Fallen. That was great as well. At 6th place is The Last Knight, and the reason why I put it over Revenge of the Fallen is that Mark Wahlberg and Anthony Hopkins are so bad in this movie that they're entertaining, but it's more wacky and bonkers. You got like Knights of the Round Table and King Arthur, you got Bumblebee fighting Nazis, you got this girl that gets introduced at the beginning of the film but she doesn't do anything, you got the Dinobots in this film but they're only in this for like 5 minutes, you got Special Forces hiring Megatron and choose his own team. But even though he's tried to destroy the world a few times and kill thousands of people, Mark Wahlberg's character is somehow a descendant of one of the Knights of the Round Table. Laura Haddock's character is somehow related to Merlin. You've got some old faces in this movie, but they might as well not be here because they don't really do anything. Optimus Prime is barely in this movie, and when he is, he's evil. And somehow Bumblebee's voice comes back just when he was about to get killed. This film is so wacky, but it's so entertaining in a bonkers way, I guess. At number 5 is Age of Extinction. The reason why I put it over The Last Knight and Revenge of the Fallen is because it has some really good ideas, like the humans hunting down the Transformers, and they're also creating their own Transformers. And this could have been the soft reboot that the franchise needed by having a new set of characters and having a 5-year time jump. The problem is, for a runtime of 2 hours and 45 minutes, there isn't really a story. It's more like main events that coexist together. The first and the second act feels like a third act alone. And for the marketing that making a big deal out of these Dinobots, they come in really late in the end. And Megatron does come back, but he doesn't do anything. At number 4 is the one that started all Transformers. And to me, in my eyes, it's a pure nostalgia film that doesn't really hold up today. I mean, it's too many cringe jokes, you got so much unnecessary focus on these human characters that we don't see again. Optimus Prime doesn't come into like an hour into this movie, but the film is still fun to watch. The story is simple, but it pays off into a nice, good, action-packed third act. And the chemistry between Sam and Bumblebee is just so charming, and I wish we saw that more in the sequels. The music is great, everything to the score and the Linkin Park music. And the film isn't oversaturated with those Michael Bay-isms that we all come to hate. At 3rd place is Dark of the Moon, and we can agree this is the best sequel in terms of the Michael Bay films. And it has all the Michael Bay-isms that we come to expect. And you also got like Sam, who has this character arc about getting the job, but it doesn't really pay off. Rosie Huntley-Whiteley, I think I'm saying that right, it's just filling the gap for Megan Fox. You got Patrick Dempsey, who's just a terrible bad guy in general. But we all know Michael Bay isn't great for his story or characters. That's why we bashed him most of the time. But when it comes down to action, this is some of the best action in the franchise. I mean, the Chicago stuff is great. You could tell there are stakes. And also, it doesn't feel like a green screen. It feels practical as it can be. And it's just great. And the Sentinel Prime twist is great. I mean, when it comes down to action, this has the best action out of all the Transformers movies. and it has a really fun third act. I mean, you could tell this is just great, and to me, this is the best Michael Bay movie. At second place is Rise of the Beasts. Even in a new reboot and you got a new director, it still has those Transformers problems, like lack of original story and some of the jokes fall flat. But that being said, this is probably the most fun Transformers movie to me. It has a great action-packed third act. I love the personality traits and the designs of the Autobots. I love the new additions of the Maximals and the Terracons, and that could have been its own movie. The human characters are more interesting than the human characters in the Michael Bay films, and I liked how they incorporate them into the action sequences. So at first place, of course, is Bumblebee. If Iron Giant was a Transformers movie, it would be this. I mean, Travis Knight came along and gave so much heart and charm into this movie. Bumblebee feels like a genuine character rather than just a thing, and the film takes time to focus on him. Hailee Steinfeld is the best human character we got from this franchise. She feels like she came from a 80s John Hughes movie. I mean, this movie is just great. We all know that. I mean, Travis Knight came along, and for a franchise that was just visual noise and attractive women that are just flashing and posing and cringeworthy jokes, he just gave new life to this franchise and a reboot that the franchise desperately needed at the time, so that's why it's at number 1. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Go like, share and subscribe, but let me know, where would you rank all the Transformers movies? Go check out my Facebook, my Twitter and my Instagram page. You guys are awesome. I got your back.